All right, we are live. We are live.
Hello.
All right, hey, I'm Ed O'Keefe, and this is my daughter
Grace O'Keefe.
And this is actually our second time doing a
Live.
live episode together. Grace, just a quick 30-second background, is just wrapped up her junior year at Tampa University in entrepreneurship. This summer she's working with me and has started her own content agency for professional practices. And that is we're gonna talk about that. We're talking about AI. We're gonna talk about
Your new book.
The new books that I'm writing or publishing, and what we're learning. And so I was thinking this morning how difficult it's got to be to be a college student right now trying to enter the real world, where you have to navigate a lot of changes in like AI, the workforce. There's just a lot of different complexities that were not here when I obviously left college, just last year as a 24-year-old senior. So let's dive in. So Grace was going to get a bunch of questions together, and then we'll just riff off the questions and see where we go with it. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, first we started with your Leapfrog Theory of Success book that you're working on, or?
Yeah. So so Leapfrog Theory of Success. So my first book was Time Collapsing, which I just had a copy here. And the Art of Time Collapsing was really the idea of modeling and trying to accomplish things faster than normally would be accomplished. Like, how do we condense what normally takes maybe 3 months into 3 weeks, or 3 years into 6 months, or how do you collapse those time frames? And it applies to every single area of life. It applies to education, learning, definitely in sports. How do we take one athlete, 2 athletes that are the same level of skill, but we train one kid and communicate in a certain way? But it's really about modeling greatness. And then it's applicable to business. It's applicable to everything, right? But there is one chapter in the book that has always come out every time I've spoken on stage about it. Everybody comes, like, all the comments I get after talks are usually around the Leapfrog Theory of Success and the 0 permission required in order to go after what you want to do. And I'll explain that. So when I was probably about 25, my backstory was that I came out of nursing school and decided not to go into nursing, which my family was so proud, right? I was the first to graduate with a degree, and came home and was like, I'm not going into the thing that I just got my bachelor's in, which was a great profession, but I wanted to do something different. And so I struggled trying to figure that out for a long time. I think the ages 23 to 27 could potentially be the toughest ages in a lot of ways, because of just the lack of structure, lack of clarity. And this principle actually is the Leapfrog Theory of Success. And the Leapfrog Theory of Success came out of a book that I read by Robert Ringer. It was called Winning Through Intimidation. I would have never purchased that book based on that title, but because it's really not about intimidating. What he discovered when he was learning like business was that how do you explain it? The level of intimidation in any relationship, meaning you think somebody has more authority than you think somebody's smarter than you think somebody's positioned differently than you. The person that has a higher level of that, he used the word intimidation, is going to win in that relationship or negotiation or whatever that might look like. Okay. Now, in there, he talked about the Leapfrog Theory of Success and what he learned in what he called Screw You University. I got to go back and check this out, because he had all these principles that he learned from Screw You University, which is really his first 10, 12, 15 years of being an entrepreneur. Was that no, it should actually be
like his saying.
It was his saying about like the principles he learned was that One of the things was that this is one of I call it in time collapsing the traps, which was the whole idea of we're taught to think sequentially and to work your way through the ranks.
Mm-hmm.
That is what we're indoctrinated to think. And if you look at our society, that's how our society works. You go to preschool, then kindergarten, then first and second, fifth, seventh, eighth, all the way through high school, and you go through college. It's all sequential. Okay. But that's really not how life works outside of school.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you
I'm
can
learning
leap.
that.
Well, there is no, I mean, there is no, you can work your way through the ranks, but as I told you, where's all the competition? Like if this was a ladder, or if this was a pyramid, or if this was a ladder, it doesn't matter. Like where's all most of the people at? In the middle, or in the beginning. And so that's where all the crowd is. And so what Ringer said is that he literally said, you have no moral or legal or ethical obligation to work your way through the ranks. At any given point, you can decide to leap to the top and claim your spot, right? Now, I've used this for years with my teams that I coach, because if it goes like, hey, so let's say we're not even ranked in the top 25 in the country, I have to brainwash them to believe that we already belong in the top 4. And so we have to reverse engineer all of our thinking, all of our languaging, all of our training to say what's already going on up here and how do we get there as quickly as humanly possible. And we're going to get there and we're going to belong there. The same is I needed to hear that when I was 25, trying to be a speaker, an entrepreneur. And I kept waiting for somebody to give me permission to be good enough as I worked my way through the ranks, which is slow, arduous. And here's the thing, guys, nobody is going to show up to give you the permission you're looking for. Like nobody. Maybe and the mentor might, and the mentor is going to be found when you leap. He's not going to be found when you're like puddling through the mud with all these other slackies, right? And I'm not judging that. I'm just saying you end up getting trapped in this, like everybody, a slow way. So leapfrog theory of success. And so that is it's a chapter in this book. I'm breaking it out to be a more condensed 30 to 50 page book, and it should be up on Amazon in the next couple weeks. But that's one of the most profound things. And the second thing that's the most profound thing on that, it was just purely when you decide that, you release yourself from so many of the false beliefs. And is it scary? Yes. Is it hard? Yes. But it's a lot easier than not having the right model and mentor. And the last thing I'll say, and then I'll pass back over to Grace, is all your future best mentors, all the future best people, all your future partners, your biggest supporters are going to be found when you leap to the top. They're not going to be found when you're trying to just do what everyone else is doing, because you won't stand out. You won't be different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That was good.
Well, what hit you? What hit you about that? I mean, and talk a little bit about
that you don't need permission to go to the top. But also, how did you know? Like, how did you go to the top then? Like, what advice would you give to people if they want to leap? What are their first steps to just get up there?
Well, so should we talk about like business, or what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk? I mean, I'm throwing it back to you. Like, to leap to the top. So there's different contexts, right? So business, right? So business, right? Here's the reality. Here's the reality about business. Is that the external people that don't know you yet don't have a frame of reference about you yet, right? So they don't know if you've been doing this at an elite level for 15 years, 30 years, 100 years. And then again, the guy who's been doing it for 30 years, people don't know how good he is anyway. Like I always say this thing, like to know how great a dentist would be, you'd literally have to go into dentist 1, get dental implants, then go into dentist 2, get dental implants. Like no one ever does that. So that's not going to happen. So how great you are does not matter in the beginning because nobody knows the difference. Okay. Now, bear with me. I'm not saying you should suck at anything, but what I am saying is that if you see somebody on stage speaking and then you see person B sitting in the audience, who has more authority?
Speaking.
The person on stage.
Mhm.
Who is perceived as to know what's going on? The person in the audience sitting there eating a cheeseburger, or the person that's speaking on stage?
Speaker.
Now, if that person, that speaker, is getting interviewed, who is perceived as the expert?
Interviewee.
Yeah, I'm kind of setting it all up. But now, like I said to a room once, I was like, if you had a gun to your head and you had to make the room buy, how would you do it? Well, you'd have a host. They would introduce you and they would give you a raving review. So you have one case study, you have a stage, which is the environment, and then you have all these people that you set up the frame to be the authority. Now, the good news about like social media today is that like we're doing this podcast, we're live, like we've seen people come on, off, this will live up here forever. But like, let's say we do 30 of these. Well, instantly we're going to have more authority and credibility over the best content agency in the world who doesn't talk to anybody, only has one client, and doesn't do it for themselves. You know, I'm kind of giving I don't know if that's the best example, but that's the example. Like, so you could literally, like, if like actually we'll have a chapter on this in it too, about if you're a business, a creator, entrepreneur, whatever, like, you know, like the person who's posting content is perceived to be smarter. They just are.
Mhm.
They're perceived to be better. They're perceived, like, whether it's true or not, you can argue that all you want. I'm telling you that people buy from people they like, they trust, they know. And Google just came out, I didn't tell you this, but Google just came out with all this information about how people, when making big decisions, could have to consume 8 hours of content from the people. They got to get touched 11 different times, like through different ads or emails or texts, like over time. And then, you know, they say like 4 platforms, like, so email, Meta, Facebook or Instagram, YouTube. So that's why you got to be omnipresent. So if you're somebody who's new, or you're not new, but you're new to marketing, if you just embrace this idea, like, it's my responsibility to make sure that I'm omnipresent and I'm building value for the people that are my best prospects, it will not take a long time for you to have your best clients coming to you. And so that's how you do it in the business environment. Now, from Leapfrog Theory of Success, what we're talking, if you're just popping on now, we're just talking about a book I have coming out. It was one of the chapters that I had inside Time Collapsing, called Leapfrog Theory of Success. Again, Leapfrog Theory says you have no moral obligation to work your way through the ranks, that at any given time you can leap to the top, okay, and claim your spot. He does say in the book, though, you have to be able to back up what you're claiming. Otherwise, the world will smack you back down. And that's okay as well. And it's okay if you screw up, and it's okay if you know, we call that testing in business. Mm-hmm. Testing, like, you're gonna fail, you're gonna make mistakes. But in sports, and this is about raising kids too, okay? The one thing that I'm always trying to look for, besides just the training, right? So when I was a younger coach, I would study a lot of film of like the U.S. national team. But then when I got in, like, say I was coaching 16 and unders, I would watch the best 16 and under teams in the country. And I would go watch the 18 and unders, and I would ask questions to those coaches. I would go right up to them. And I would say, how do you get them to do those things and whatever. So that's how you learn, like, it's information, right? So now we got the information, but let's pretend my training is replicated on the number one model. That's very important to understand. So I'm going to leave. I got to know who the model is. Okay. So if that's the model, do you know what I mean by model?
Like who you're trying to copy?
Yeah. Who I'm trying to copy.
Yeah.
Literally, like, if somebody else could do that, I could do it, or we can do it. And, it might look a little different, but I'm going to go in that path, because that path is the right path, right?
Mm-hmm.
All
because they made it.
Well, they made it, and you know, like, we're moving in Time Collapsing. I talk about the law of the undertow, and if you've ever seen or the wake. Like, if you've ever seen a boat driving, like a speedboat, and it's driving, and then it's going really fast, and then it shuts down to neutral. What comes behind it?
Waves.
The waves, right? So the wake.
Yes.
And so when you're going down a path, you don't really sometimes feel it, but your engine and your like efforts are pulling things behind you. And that's why it's so important not to quit, because you don't know the level of wake you're bringing behind you that's building momentum, that you just don't know how close you really are. I talk about this as well, like the tsunami of success. Like, what's a tsunami? It's an earthquake that's hundreds of miles outside the shore. Nobody knows about it. The water's steady, but underneath it's building up a tidal wave, and then it comes up and nobody saw it coming. That's what you got to think about this when you're going through this kind of process, right? So in sports, or in raising children, or in leading teams, I also got, this is a big one here. This is like secret ninja stuff, is I need to know how to map out what what their belief systems need to be in order to operate at that level. Like, for us to win a national title, for us to be in the top 4, for us to be to win this qualifier, for us to become a Division I player, or for like whatever your goal might be, there's belief systems that have to be installed. And the best way to build the belief system is to catch them when they do it right. Like, catch them when they're doing it, and then give them great feedback. And then when they struggle, you catch that too, and you're like, that's great. And they're like, what? I'm like, you did all this right. We'll make one small change. I'm like, but guess what? We're going to make more mistakes. This is a big belief system I would put into all my teams. We're going to make more mistakes than any other team this year, because at the end of the year, we're going to keep developing faster and faster and faster. Anyhow, so that's how we use all these concepts, and I could apply it to any. It's applicable to everything. You want a kid to learn really quickly? This is called, you were talking about losing the friction. So I have a term called losing the friction. It's another mini book that I'm going to have coming out. Is that one of the best ways to get kids to learn really rapidly is to remove things. And sometimes it's removing a false belief that they keep telling themselves, like, I'm stupid, or I'm not good at that, or I'm whatever. And again, you can recognize it by watching it. And when I see it, I'll ask them, like, well, what was going on there? And I'll chuckle, or I'll be like, hey, I noticed this. And like, when they get tense, and I'm like, I might say something as simple as like, okay, cool. What are you telling yourself? You're not great at this? And they'll say, like, yeah, I'm not good at this. I'm like, all right, cool. Do me a favor. Can we pretend? Like, just play a game. You'll never say that for the next 7 days. And then I'll give them a new rule. Like, I want to keep it black and white. Like, in volleyball, it's simple for me because I've coached that for 20 something years. But I'll say, you're only going to do 2 things. You're either attacking high cross court hard, or I want to tip here when we're out of system. Like, I just gave them something simple, and then they're going to find success. And all of a sudden we remove the negative self-talk, and then I'll come back up and I'll be like, do you notice that? Like, what happened? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, great. So this wasn't true. This is true. This is really who you are. And then all of a sudden, and then you say, I just want you to be brave and courageous, and let me just see that. We're not going to judge the outcome. That is applicable to every single thing. If you're a teacher in a thing, like, where failure leads to success, all these things, and we just start picking away things. Leadership and environments. One of the biggest things I think people struggle with is that failure is okay. Making mistakes is okay. Like, and think about it. How old are you now?
21.
21. You're not really 21, are you? I think you were drinking last night at the
No,
bar.
I am
21. People are like, he doesn't know his own daughter's age. I'm like, hey man, I got 7 kids.
He's
I
like,
can
no,
scrub.
he only knows his oldest daughter's age.
That's right. Blah, blah, blah. But if you think about it, all of my kids right now that are in traditional schooling have been trained for the last 21 years how to get permission from somebody that it has authority, which we call those teachers. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's a hard thing to break out of, because I understand, get assignment, do work, get feedback, good, bad, ugly, and then I get really good at doing those assignments. and I get the green check marks and the 100. Whoa, you're so smart. And we were at Julia's ceremony, the award ceremony the other night. I literally turned to my wife and I go, "Is Julia a good student? Like, she get how she's in
good grades?
I'm like, how are her grades? Is she okay? You know, because I don't know any of my kids' grades. I just know they were better than what mine were. I guess the only, the importance of grades are you can get scholarships and get into good schools. But growing up in a blue collar family, we didn't care about those things. Like everyone was going to the trades, right? So I didn't really think about that. So anyhow, on the point on that, and I know I'm rambling a little bit. Was this you like this at all?
Yeah, I was gonna ask more about the removing friction.
Okay, let me just say this one, but that's I think it's very challenging to now. You leave college, you've been getting approval by everybody. They don't let you use AI at its full capacity.
In school?
Yeah, like you could use ChatGPT. Like, bro, we're so far beyond ChatGPT. Like things are flying. By the time our kids get out of school, there's going to be like 5 human beings running computers. Like, why aren't we just going all in on teaching our kids that? Because that's the future. But all right, let's go talk about friction.
I was going to ask, do you need someone else to remove the friction, or can you do it yourself?
Well, no, I mean, I think, okay, so one of the great language patterns, I heard my good friend Michael Burnoff say this. If somebody was watching you right now, what in the context of removing friction, what would they remove for you that would make your life a lot easier if they did it?
What would they remove?
Yeah, like let's say a genie showed up, the world's greatest genie, the world's greatest at whatever you're trying to accomplish, and they showed up right here, and they are over there, and they were looking at your life, and you wrote out all your goals and everything you'd like to be in 3 years or 5 years, and then this wise person was looking at you, and they have all the experience in the world, right? And you can go spirits. It could be like, let's say the Holy Spirit came over here and was watching you, and you were asking for guidance, or you could say, let's pretend somebody in like my dad or my mom who are passed away were watching, or the world's greatest business owner was watching. If that was the context, what would they remove for you and say, hey, you don't need that, you're trying too hard, or you're fine without that? And then if that was gone, it would allow you to accelerate, right?
Yeah.
So
you have to think about that.
No, I'm just giving you I'm giving you a framework, right?
Yeah.
So the answer is, it's always easier for somebody looking at your situation if they have the experience and the skill sets. Like it's very important who you get advice from. Most I'm not a huge fan of just randomly signing up for counselors or therapists or people that you do not know their training. They come with rave reviews. Like, they have to be outcome oriented. Otherwise, you can be with somebody who's not great and they could do more damage, okay? Because language matters. But there's a powerful aim, and I could just say to the audience, I mean, I know people had breakthroughs right by me just saying that.
Yeah.
Because the moment, or if I said this, if you looked at yourself 3 years from now and we looked at everything you want, right? If you went, like, there's a person out there that's the future Grace 3 years from now, and she's smiling, she's physically fit, she's got all her internal dreams and desires out there, and you start letting that like process for a minute. And then I said, okay, Grace, now what I want you to do is I want you to pretend there's a hot air balloon that flies you out beyond that person in the future. And then I want you to land right behind her, step into her, looking back at where you are now. And then she's looking back at the young you, and all she says is, just take a step towards me. And then you start seeing, okay, I like this about myself in the future. I like this about myself in the future. Ooh, I don't want to be sitting behind a computer all day. Oh, I could see myself on stage. Oh, I'd like to be doing live streams and repping out brands. See how you're nodding?
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like, there's different things that, like, you start seeing, oh, that's the future me. your future you doesn't have the limitations that you have today.
Yeah.
Right? Like today we have time constraints. We have to be off in 5 minutes. I got a graduation tonight. I got to be somewhere. But the guy who I want to be 5 years from now, he's not worried about that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're going to be physically fit. You got a big smile. So the third party perspective always gives we call it disassociation. Okay. Disassociate from what's stressing you out or frictioning you or causing these things. In my book, Time Collapsing, Ed Clay, who runs, who's part owner of Chipsa Hospital and TAM down in Tijuana, they are just great examples with Dedrick and Scotty Nelson. They are great examples of time collapsers and leapfrog theory of success guys. One of the exercises I had them do when they were in my mastermind and coaching club was I noticed a pattern of language that of like disruptors. For example, Tesla, Uber, Airbnb, all these things, like they would Amazon. They would say things like when they were being interviewed, their language would say, well, this thing happened. And so I asked myself, like, wouldn't it be great if I was able to just stay at an apartment rather than go to a hotel? Or like, or like for Uber, wouldn't it be great if you actually got picked up in a black car instead of a smelly ass taxi? So wouldn't it be great if? And then we call that the magic wand experience because, or no, I call it the freedom question. That could be a separate book because it's just like a little journal. Like hey, you got 10 minutes and all you're supposed to say is, don't give me your limitations. Don't tell me how. You don't need to know those things. You're just supposed to say, wouldn't it be great if? And then just finish the sentence. Wouldn't it be great if I raised confident, this is one of mine, raised confident, self-believing kids that are loving, blah, 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 that grow up to be good people. I think mom and I have done a pretty good job of it. It's like one of the only things I'm good at is possibly raising kids. I always joke about that. Like I'm good at 3 things: raising kids,
what's the second and third?
Coaching volleyball and coaching high level athletes. And the third is speaking on stage.
Oh yeah.
And making fun of myself. And then below that, I think I'm decent at marketing, but you know, all right, we got 3 minutes. Well, tell me, I've been hogging this.
I'm learning.
Okay, so do you want to ask a question or do you want to talk more?
I can ask you a question. Oh, there was one that I did want to ask.
All right, we'll do this on the next episode. We'll do another episode in the next week or so. We're going to start doing this more often. Please leave a comment if you like this. We're just kind of, we're working together a lot and we both like talking. So we figured let's go live. I wish more people could hear some of our conversations because it really is a good case study on navigating the next environment that we have going on. All right, what do we got?
You want another question?
Yeah, we got 2 minutes.
I thought this was good. What opportunities are you seeing right now that most people are completely missing?
Well, I mean, I think
besides like also in the AI aspect as well.
I think there's an AI gap that is just gonna I think that Grace learned 3 AI tools this week, and we got to realize that. Here, I'll give you one, right? If AI has already the intellectual capacity to have a PhD in almost every single category, it works at light speed. It can search internets 1,000 times faster, and you can literally build out personalities that would normally be people you would hire, like a graphic designer, a copywriter, a media buyer, to do so much of the work for you and be leverageable and assist you. Why wouldn't you do that? And the answer is because you don't see from the currently where we are, the gap. There's a big gap that is very cloudy. And so I guess one thing I'm trying to navigate too is like, how much do we share the AI learning journey together? I've recently found 2 mentors that I'm learning and I trust implicitly. Next time we should talk about modeling appropriately, because now that I trust them, I'm all in on it. And I don't think most people trust AI. So it creates the feeling of, I don't know what to do, which stalls us out. and builds frustration, worry, anxiety. And there's two directions you can go in that. You can stay confused and overwhelmed, or you just ignore it. Boom. And it makes you feel, this makes you feel better, but it's not healthy because it's not good, because this is only going to go in one direction. And this, at least you're moving in the right direction. You just got to find the right mentor or mentors. And there's some good ones out there. And so maybe on the next one we can discuss that more. I gotta jump on a call right now.
Sounds good.
All right, love you. All right.
Love
Hey, yeah, join us. Just like, subscribe, whatever. Just comment. Let us know how you like
Leave
this stuff.
questions if you want.
Yeah.
Learn more.
All right. Peace out, yo. Sigma boy. All right, bye-bye.